And we're back with Leo in the center and Kenny in the left-hand side. You're wearing a freaking hood. You look like Kenny on Halloween. It's like...
Do I?
No, you know what you look like? You look like Kenny's alter ego, Mysterion.
Kinda do.
All you need to do is like go, I have a power. I die and people don't remember. It's like...
It worked for the tinfoil hatness.
It so would. It's like... Okay, where were we? Oh, yes. So, y'all did not watch the Zuckerberg yesterday. I was saying, so y'all didn't watch the Zuckerberg yesterday.
His comment about Gmail?
No, I'm just referring to the... Okay, here's... Okay. Because this is tinfoil hatland today, I can say this, because this is very tinfoil hatty. But, you know, the average person out there is, you know, they're afraid of Microsoft taking over the world. Well, you know, Microsoft has kind of already taken over the world, and they've proven they can't hold on to it. It's evident by the fact that across the board, with few exceptions, their market share has been shrinking the last 3 years. So, really, we shouldn't be afraid of the evil Microsoft. Because they've proven that they'll get it, then they'll lose it. They'll screw it up. Then there's the people who are afraid of the big, bad, evil Google. To a point, I think they're justified. But at the end of the day, I'm not afraid of Google for two reasons. I'm not afraid of Google because they have that core philosophy, don't be evil, in combination with the fact that they have a whole floor dedicated to making the world's biggest plinko machine. I'm like, with that kind of insanity and fun in the workplace, the odds against an asshole going far at Google are, yeah, they're pretty small, because nobody wants that screwed up that works there. Although it is conceivable at some point in the future, both of those things will go out the window at Google, and Google will be bad. But even if all of that happens, and the future what if, where the Terminator takes, where Cyberdyne Systems takes over Google Central happens.
Well, also, I think that what Google offers is holds less. It holds less. I don't know, inertia. You know, than what Microsoft offers.
It's not just that. Really, Google's whole business model is based on not being an ass. Because Google's whole business model is just being a conduit through which things flow without Google doing anything to interfere with the flow. What they add, or the service they provide in every way, shape, or form, is organization of traffic without interfering. Why they do interfere some, their business, if they do come in and try and become the evil dictator that everybody is afraid to death they're going to be, their whole business model self-destructs. Literally, the day Google does that is the day Google goes out of business, because everybody will just pick up and go screw Google. It's like...
Exactly. What I'm saying is that with Google, it's not hard to switch. I mean, they have email, search, but honestly, Bing search is very, very comparable to Google. And the reason that I use Google is because I like Google better, and I like the company Google better than Microsoft as well, and I'm used to it. But I've seen the search results, and they're about the exact same. So, and same with email. Yeah, I think that Gmail is...
And honestly, with every single Google service, the Google Docs, the email, the shot, within a day, you can pull every single thing you have in there out of it and port it somewhere else. It is that easy. There isn't a way for them to say F you. There isn't a way for them to do it.
Right.
But then you have the exact opposite. And this is the one that everybody kind of coughs and looks the other way and yada yada and so forth. But I really do think this is the dictator we should all be afraid of, and that's Facebook. And the reason I say that is because Facebook, for lack of a better way to explain what Facebook is Google if AOL bought them. That is exactly what Facebook is. They want to do Google's job, but they want to do it on the AOL business model. And that's like, we all remember AOL, and well, maybe y'all don't, but AOL's whole thing was, like remember, it's like everything had to go through the AOL software. Everything had to be AOL, even if it had nothing to do with AOL. It had to go through AOL. And this is how Facebook works. And yesterday, Facebook, to add to their arsenal, made this announcement that now Facebook does email. And they're providing an email service.
Facebook does email?
Yes, Facebook has an email service now.
Why?
Well, it's like, read the notes here about what this service actually is. I've put all the things it does. It's weird. Basically, in the one hand, this is like what we were talking about, me and James talked about, I think, a few months ago now at this point. In the future, where is spam filtering and stuff going to go? Basically, Facebook wants to be the whitelist for everybody's messages. Is what the bid is with this email thing. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, but the way they're going about it is just, it's an all roads must lead to Facebook thing. The way Facebook works right now is, say your brother-in-law's third cousin signs on to Facebook. Facebook goes, "Would you like to add everybody you've ever met to Facebook?" And they go, "Sure." So they add your email and they say on, and Facebook goes, "I'm sorry, this person isn't on Facebook right now. Would you like to invite them? Or better yet, we'll do it for you. And we'll annoy them every 3 days until they mark our messages spam." And that's how this email thing's going to work. It's going to work very much like Gmail works. Gmail organizes email by default, and Thunderbird does this now too. A lot of email clients do this. A lot of email services do it. They organize your things by conversation. If I start talking to somebody about the big deal on the 5th, every conversation and reply we do back and forth with that subject line gets grouped because that's a conversation we're having. It makes sense for those things to be grouped together. The way Facebook's email/messaging system works, it's a hybridization of IM, SMS, and email. Basically, it's the Facebook messaging system now fully plugged into email, now fully plugged into this, and the idea or logic behind this is it's going to organize all of these things into chains of thoughts. Although I don't like the way they're doing this to start with, because I think it's going to drive everyone nuts. The way it works is, rather than grouping by conversations, it groups by a person. So if we were talking on Facebook, every single conversation I had with you from now until eternity is going to be under one thread. Whether we're talking about the deal on the 5th, about my kid, about my cats being sick, about everything that you ever talk to with any person is grouped into one thread. It's grouped by the person, and by the person only. And there's a copy of everything and everybody and every other thing for that thread.
You know what's annoying me? It's when there was, Zuckerberg said something about how email is too formal, and the problem is that's getting to be extremely true. Where it's much more casual to just add someone to Facebook and message them there. Email is kind of, which is, I think, is kind of ridiculous. But it is getting so that email is like a formal thing. It's like you used to hand out your number to people on a piece of paper. Now you hand out your email, and now you hand out your Facebook.
Well, and you know what's creepy about this? Officially, we're all old farts because we use email. And email's like an obsolete medium at this point. It's like, no. I don't have time to open the application and read your email and do your thing. Just send me a text message. And that is how this thing will work. Basically, you will tell Facebook where you are. So if you're not at home and you're on your mobile phone, it will forward all the messages to your Facebook app on your phone. And basically the messages will follow you around. What I see being a problem here is that the thing is organized into one thread and one thread only. And people brought this up at this announcement. They're like, what if, I love my mother and I love her dearly. This was like people, or I think they said grandma or whatever. It's like, but grandma is always forwarding me every picture of a cat any spam thing ever emails her. And why I love Granny dearly, I don't want all those pictures of cats. And they're like, well, you see, these will all be grouped by grandma. So in other words, you allow grandma and you put her as a whitelisted friend because Facebook is all about organizing, and we all know that all Facebook friends are your dearest and closest friends with whom you want to completely interact 24/7. So it's like basically you approve grandma and all the cat pictures will come through too. You can't say I don't want the cat pictures and the son. But by default, if you haven't approved grandma, all the cat pictures will go in the other thing. And that brings me to the other problem with this. Anyone you haven't whitelisted approved goes into a pseudo spam folder. And anybody whom, if you change your default setting to, if I haven't added you, I don't want to talk to you, then you never even find out that they sent you a message at all. It disappears into the void. Not necessarily a bad thing for getting rid of spam, but there's like a 2-layer spam system. There's everybody you've approved, and then every single message they send you, whether it's forwarded cat spam, or wishing you a happy birthday, or saying they want to take you out on a date, goes into one thread for that person. And then there's anyone you haven't pre-approved, which goes into pseudo spam. And then there's a third tier spam, which is everyone else, which unless you open your default settings to allow these messages to get through, you'll never even find out you got them. Which means basically the flaw I see here, which is exactly what Facebook wants, unless you turn your entire organizational life over to the Facebook system and go, well, I got to add grandma, I got to add my mom, I got to add my aunts, I got to add my uncles, I got to add my cousins, I got to add this friend I met at school, I have to add the teacher, I have to, basically every single person you know. In other words, if you don't give your entire complete social graph on every frickin' tier to this Facebook whitelist, the system won't work. Which is exactly what they want. But, and they were asked about this, and this is why we're talking about this on Tinfoil Hat thing, no less than 7 times the reporters at this press announcement tried to ask Zuckerberg, and when Zuckerberg wouldn't answer, they tried to ask everybody else there, how are you going to treat the obvious data mine capabilities of people that we whitelist and people that wind up in the spam filter? Because it's all on your servers, it's all information. This is a wealth of social graph information. What are you going to do with it? And they basically refused to answer. They suited back, well, the way it works is if you've whitelisted it, it goes in the inbox, and if you haven't whitelisted it, it goes in the spam folder. Yes, but what are you going to do with that information? If you've whitelisted it, and they refused to answer it. They refused every frickin' time. So, is this how we want